Winter 1959. Deep inside the frozen Ural Mountains, 9 hikers vanished. They were young, strong, experienced explorers, the kind of people who survive the impossible. They traveled by train into the wilderness, laughing, unaware they would never return. As night fell, they built their tent on a lonely slope beneath a rising storm. The mountain had a name locals never forgot: Koletsyakal, the mountain of the dead. Somewhere around 2 in the morning, something outside the tent changed everything. The canvas walls suddenly trembled, bending inward like something was pressing from the dark.
In panic, a knife ripped through the tent fabric, a desperate escape into the night. They ran barefoot into the snow, straight into -30-degree darkness. Their boots, coats, and supplies remained behind, abandoned in the torn shelter. Days later, search teams found the first bodies beneath a frozen pine tree. Their skin blue with frost, their hands burned by the last attempt to survive. But the others were discovered far deeper in the snow, and their injuries were impossible. One victim had ribs crushed inward, like a massive force had collapsed his chest. Another lay in the snow with a fractured skull, yet no wounds on the outside. It looked as if something powerful struck them, without ever breaking the skin. One young woman was missing her tongue, her mouth frozen open in silence. When investigators scanned their clothing, the Geiger counter began to click. Radiation clung to their jackets and trousers, contamination no one could explain. Meanwhile, villagers miles away reported strange lights floating across the night sky. Bright orange spheres drifted silently above the mountains, moving slowly through the storm. Authorities struggled for answers, changing their story again and again and again. First, they claimed an avalanche buried the hikers in the middle of the night. Then whispers spread about secret military tests hidden in the mountains. Later came another theory: strange infrasound waves driving the hikers into panic. But decades later, a journalist uncovered something buried deep in the evidence. A forgotten film canister labeled simply Camera Roll Number 10. The camera had been recovered from the campsite, but the film was never shown. For years it remained locked away, unseen by the public. Until one single photograph quietly surfaced from the mysterious final roll. The blurry image showed something standing silently between the dark trees. A tall shape, almost human, yet somehow completely wrong.
What about this ridge?
It's clear. We proceed.
Investigators dismissed the image quickly, calling it nothing more than light distortion. But imagine being inside that thin tent in the freezing dark. The wind screams across the mountain, shaking the fragile fabric walls. Then suddenly, a shadow moves slowly outside the canvas. Not the wind, not falling snow, something standing there. Your heart pounds as the tent wall pushes inward from the outside. You slash through the fabric and run, because staying means certain death. The forest below waits in silence, the kind of silence that feels wrong. Days earlier, one hiker wrote a strange line in his journal. Now we know that snowmen exist. The local Nancy people told stories of tall beings roaming the mountains. Silent guardians of the wilderness, angered when strangers enter their territory. The hikers didn't run together like a team trying to escape. They scattered wildly across the snow in different directions. The pattern looked less like escape and more like prey fleeing a predator. One by one, the mountain claimed them, leaving their bodies beneath the snow. In the end, the official report gave a strange final explanation. The hikers died because of what authorities call a compelling natural force. So if you ever hike somewhere remote and the forest suddenly goes quiet, listen, because 9 people once ignored that feeling, and whatever watched them was never found.